outside nose in here, because we can see the young male through here, but a bit obscured for the camera. So what I want to do, well, this is a pride from predominantly up in the north of Kunyuma. It's a place called Biffleshoek, a property called Biffleshoek, and this is part of their territory, so they do come on to Kunyuma periodically. And these are known as the Kunyumas. Okay, let's move a little bit so we can get a better view of the pride. And it might be a little bit easier filming angles. A little bit of grooming going on. There's some birds behind us alarming. You can see this one showing a little bit of interest in the sound of the bird's alarm calls. Hello, Cindy. Tennessee. Cindy's just noticing the spots on the thighs, the inside thighs of the cats, and wondering if it's age-related or do all of them have it. It's a throwback from a time when lion probably did have spots before they sort of came out onto the open savanna and became these social cats that live in prides, and the spots were no longer needed because they didn't need to hunt in dappled shade like I suppose like a leopard. I suppose it's sort of a throwback to when lion were somewhat different. They're born with spots, and depending on how they sitting or lying, sometimes you can see them a lot better. But it is somewhat age related because the younger they are, the more spotty they are. If we look at some of the older females, if I could maybe move a little forward, we would see this one old female that's lying down here next to us. We see that she has fewer spots. I wonder what. I left the trypnogen that's troubling those birds. We go a little bit. Georgie in Australia, good afternoon to you. Morning our time. Georgie wants to know about the nose, the colour of the nose of cats. And yes, Georgie, the colour of the nose has some reference to the age, because cubs are born with pink noses, and as they age, the nose starts. And then as adults they have black noses. Hello Dora. Ohio. Morning, Dora. Wanting to know if they look like they've recently fed. No, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like they're really that skinny and hungry, but it doesn't look like they're very full. Looking at him standing there now. And not easy to tell with them lying down. This big female that's lying next to us looks quite full. She might have had something that others didn't have. Youngsters are looking a little bit empty. It's easier to tell when they're standing, when they're up. Interesting question from Texas. Morning, Jeffrey. Regarding hunting and cubs learning how to hunt. Do the lionesses teach the cubs how to hunt, or is it mostly an instinctive thing? I hope this is going to work. Hang on a sec there, Jeffrey. Morning, Paul. They're still close to that clearing on Gallagher, in front of Gallagher. Still close to that small track near Gallagher Camp. Same lock where Ephraim was. Yeah, firm. But north of the Kunyuma. Don't know how the land cruisers are going to get in. Jeffrey, Texas. Do they teach the cubs how to hunt? Strangely enough, with lions, it's a little bit of a dual thing. There is a lot of there. As cubs, they'll chase things because there is an instinct. As a cat, there is that instinct to chase, and they do, of course, learn a lot when they play with each other. One of the things about having multiple birds and maybe having multiple cubs within a pride is that play becomes a very important aspect of their lives, and in that process, they learn a lot, or they hone not only muscles but skills too. And there is a certain amount of instinct that drives them to sort of go for the throat or to sort of jump on a back and pull it down. So in terms of that kind of behavior, or that part of the hunt that is instinctive, or is the word instinctual? I think it's instinctive, but open to correction. However, there's another side to lion that is not, and that is the cooperative hunting techniques that are required to bring down larger prey. And it's interesting how, what are they looking? There's something, there's one was looking like she was going into a stalk mode. Get involved in the hunt, and sometimes they'll mess it up. But I've seen cubs of even 3-4 months old tugging at the tail of a buffalo while their mothers were trying to kill it. 45 minutes for the two mothers to kill. And prey species, or it depends what they're hunting. Morning, Marc. Wants to know the largest pride of lion I've ever seen. I think about 17. I can't really remember, Marc. She's being a bit sick, that one. Maybe a furball or something. but she's got a lot of mucus. She's trying to vomit, a lot of mucus coming out of her mouth and nose. The large male eat first. Well, he's not a really large male, he's actually a youngster, by the way. But Betty, this is something that I can't really give an answer to until we're actually witnessing a particular pride. And even then, although maybe one day you might find that the male will eat first and on another day he won't. And a lot of it also depends on the size of the animal. I've seen times where they kill a warthog and the male comes along and he just takes the warthog away from the females. And then they get up and leave and they take their cubs away and they go and hunt something else entirely. It's almost like they placated the male so that they could go and feed their cubs without him stealing or without him interfering. This is a question that has to do with individual animals, and different prides will do different things, but even an individual will do something different on different days. I've seen lion prides where the male won't let any of the females near the carcass while he's eating, but he'll allow the young cubs to eat. And I've seen where males will even give a swipe at a young cub that comes near. I've seen males that allow the whole pride to eat with them, and on other days they don't. I think a lot of it has also got to do with the level of hunger within the pride, because very often when they haven't been eating for a while and they are quite hungry, if they kill something, there's a free-for-all to try and get a little piece of whatever it may be. And even though there might be a fairly large animal like a wildebeest or a zebra or a buffalo, and there's certainly enough food to go around, there are times when they're so hungry that they dive in, and some of them get injured then because they get so aggressive with each other. All this lovey-dovey that we see under these circumstances changes when there's meat on the table. So unfortunately, one of those questions where the answer starts with it depends on so many things, and it's largely got to do with the character and the personality and the tolerance and the temperament of the individual male within the male or males within the pride, and the level of hunger and the size of the animal. Donna, morning Donna in Missouri. How old do we think, or do I think this young male is? Probably about 3.5, not quite 4 maybe, despite his size. Affecting it too much. Where are you going, little boy? Better shade. Oh, you want grass? Maybe. Some of the grasses that they eat have got fine hairs that all face in a particular direction, and chewing the grasses into a ball and swallowing it makes like this, it's like a brush almost, a miniature brush.